Hello there, YouTube. This is Zoo Tycooner Steve. Welcoming you back to the zoo. You've been seeing little glimpses of it. I showed you my tapiar exhibit. I put up a tutorial on how to build this large reptile house we did last time. I haven't been going through and showing you exhibit per exhibit per exhibit because I didn't really know what I wanted to do with the zoo. It's just kind of a place. I originally just thought of it. Basically, I was trying to teach myself the paths. I finally think I've got the paths down. They're frustrating, but once you learn how to do them, the ins and outs, you can actually make a pretty good system out of them. And you can see I've got them to the point where I can have them multi-leveled. I can work them out. But that's not why we're here today. We're here today to begin a project for the zoo, how we're going to fill in all the rest of this open space here. And I came up with an idea. It's actually an old idea I had. I did it for one of my Zoo Tycoon 2 zoos. And that was the idea of a random roll zoo, where basically I'm going to use a random number generator to pick what animal I'm going to build an exhibit for next. So I don't know what's coming. It's going to make it nearly impossible to theme, but that's what I'm going to do because it was a lot of fun the last time I did it. And it's going to force me to use some animals that I don't usually think of using or don't, they're not on the top of my list. But it gives me an idea to it gives me an excuse to use them and kind of really invest in different kinds of exhibits that I don't usually do. So right now I have all the current packs that are available. At the time this is coming out, the most recent pack is the Arctic pack. So we have the Arctic pack, we have the Australia pack, we have the base game obviously, and there was one of the South America pack. There's a Southeast Asia pack coming out soon, which I'm excited for, but it's not out yet, so we don't have that. And right now the game has 65 animals. So what I'm going to do is have the random number generator pick a number between 1 and 65. Whichever number it comes out, we'll just go alphabetically down the list. Whatever animal is in that number we're going to use. If it's an animal we already have, it's just going to be a reroll. So if we get like the barge tapirs or one of the lemurs or the Komodo dragon or the Nile monitor or the tortoises, reroll. Anything else goes. We're going to have to live with it. So I'm going to pull up the random number generator here, 1 through 65, and generate a number. Number is 63. Okay, well, it's going to be easy to count that at least. Pull up my animal trading here. Lulu. Of course, it's not loading. Come on. There we go, it's going up now. Okay, so we'll just open up the filter here. Maybe. There we go. So 63, easiest just to count for the back. So 65, 64, and the West African lions. There we go. Let's see if this will actually work. This one actually might be a problem for us because it takes, I think you can't buy the lions with cash, which I'm flush with, but you can buy them with ecology credits. And I do have 2,700 right now. So yeah, we can do this. We're not going to be able to buy like one of the albino ones that you can see are super expensive, but we can absolutely afford one male and one female and make an exhibit for them. Yeah, that looks like completely doable based on the credits we have. Although I don't see any lionesses that aren't albinos. We'll find one. I'm not worried about that. Let's go ahead and grab them now. We're going to buy the cheap ones because that's what we have. Okay, so we'll grab Hondo here. He's got terrible immunity genes, so we're going to have a vet on him, but still very good. The rest of him looks nice. So we'll go ahead and adopt him there. And then we'll see if we can find a lioness that'll work for us. Because these guys are out of my price range. And if we have to have, I don't know if they can be by themselves. I should have checked out the Zoopedia. Yeah, a lot of albinos. So you can tell a lot of people are breeding these and then throwing them into the animal trade center. Lulu. Wow. Oh, that's right. We can sort by sex. Just want females. So many albinos. But there we go. Okay, here's some. Wow, they're still kind of... Oh, there we go. These ones are affordable. Let's check the Zoopedia. How many can I have? Should I have? Lulu. all the way down here. West African lion. No interspecies. Got a little bit of what they got. So let's see, species data. 1 male and up to 29 females. Okay, so we only want 1 male, definitely. Mating system, they're promiscuous, male dominant. I can do a male bachelor group, but I'd have to have 2 of them, so I think it's better to have 1 male and 2 females, because then we can breed ourselves. Reproduction capacity. How much room do they need? And they're not climbers, not swimmers. They do need a pretty big space, 705 meters per. And a grade 3 climb-proof fence. So we do have to have the fence that's at least 3 meters high and has the climb-proofs on them. Critically endangered. I didn't know they were that endangered. Maybe it's because it's the West African and not just lions in general. Research. I don't have really any research done. Okay. So we definitely want to grab both of those females that we had available for us, and we could afford. I'm also trying to think here, do I want to assume that we can section off a part of our zoo to make it like an African area and just put the lions up front as one of the draw-in features? Or do we want to not worry about theming and just drop them off somewhere? What's wrong with you? Longevity. Oh, you're a little small. That's alright. It's from Frontier Zoo. Thank you, Frontier Zoo. And this is also from Frontier Zoo. Frontier Zoo is breeding out a couple of very small female lions. Okay. So let's take a look at our zoo now. It's the one thing I do wish they would add to this if there was just like a zoo map mode. Maybe there isn't, I don't know, but I've never seen it. Let's go ahead and take a look at our zoo here. So here's our entrance, tapirs. We haven't really done, there's the Alhambra tortoises, lemurs, that's the Nile monitor, that's the big bug house. So we can make this path here an entrance to a African area. And that's somewhat appealing to me because we've got this large, the entrance for our zookeepers into the bug house is this large pathway here, so we could easily build like a zookeeper thing here, a lion exhibit here. Go ahead and like put archway or something. Yeah, I think that's what we're going to do. I think we're going to go with the assumption that there's enough African animals that even random rolling, we're going to be able to build an African exhibit. And anything we get from the future that's not African, we could build off this way for now. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to cut it off here because I've rambled for a bit, but I had to explain the premise of what we're going to do going forward. We're going to put in some West African lions here, so wish me luck. I'm going to figure this out and hopefully build something nice. Alright, let's zoom in here and get to some actual building. So first thing we're going to do is, I think, make the building that's going to be for our zookeepers and like the off exhibit place for our lions. So for this, I just kind of made a weird shape to start with, like this little zigzaggy thing, kind of like a Pikachu tail. I could have just said a lightning bolt, but I said a Pikachu tail because I'm a nerd. And just something there. I knew I wanted the back of it close to the entrance for our exhibit house, but go ahead and move around, and I just made a big kind of mushroom shape for the lions. We're going to go ahead and build out an area here, and we're just going to do this one on a grid. This is going to be where our inside viewing area is for our guests. So they're going to go into a building. Quick wipe here. We'll go ahead and also put in some outside viewing areas, just little places along the path where our guests are going to be able to stop and look at our lions. And obviously we're going to have to tweak this a little bit. I think that's too sharp a turn is the problem. Yeah, so if we want to get this straight... Okay, so I think if we want to get this straight, we might actually have to move the door. So let's go ahead and do that. Move the door one over. And yeah, we can do that. More or less perfect. Perfect. Widen that out so it fits. And good. Okay, so that's going to be a viewing area and the exit. Let's get this fence up as close to the indoor viewing area as possible. And we're going to change... Let's go ahead and build this first. I'm going to put in an archway now. I'm going to do a little extra here. I've decided that this part of the park is going to be like our African section. So we're going to go ahead and build up this little archway. So let's go ahead and get that started. We're just going to put they got this really nice mud set that I haven't been able to use in the zoo. I guess I could have used it from the beginning if I wanted, but I haven't yet. So we're going to go ahead and build this, and then we're going to like put walls on, just going to the left and the right, just to block off the view for people who aren't, so that people who are walking through it can't see into Africa without going through the arch, and they can't see really out of Africa without going back through it. We're going to try to create the illusion that these are almost two separate parks. So we'll go ahead and hang some of these guys here. Do you have corner pieces? I don't think so. What statues do we have? I can put 2 lions on either side like that, but they're too far out. Here's what we're going to do. Let's go ahead and put the thatching there, and then we'll put the lion in the middle, like that. Perfect. And now we'll label this. And we're just going to call it Africa, I think. Let's not get fancy. We could call it something else, but we'll just label it Africa, get that to the middle. Beautiful. And we're going to extend the bamboo bushes so that they block off the area. Let's go ahead and give a backing to this lion so it's easier to see. Yes, perfect. And then I want to put lights around it so you can see it in the dark. And let's just shrink these guys so it's just like little torches there. Okay. Change the ground to sand, I think. Yes. We'll do that throughout the African area, so it's like a sandy ground. It's going to look a little weird, because in my head I'm seeing a lot of vegetation, but also sandy ground, so it might get to the point where it's too eclectic, to use the big word. It's too mixed up to make me happy. But anyway, we'll go ahead. Let's put in a one-way glass here. And how do I want to connect these areas? I'm going to make another. Let's make this fatter. And then I want an outside viewing area around here as well. And then we're going to, how do I want to do it like this? Make it like a big T, and then we can, yes, perfect. Then we can flex in. And we'll make this an outside viewing area as well. If I can get that the right size. Perfect. Okay. It looks a little funny, but it's going to be fine once we put the doors on. All right. Now we've got one-way glass up front for the actual fencing. I'm still just going to go ahead and put through these glass doors. Walls. Glass walls is the word I was looking for. Okay. And I'm going to use these breezeway blocks. It's going to look a little different from the rest of the zoo, but I think that's fine. So we're going to loop it around, kind of hugging. Build in like these little faux corners. Yes. To make it more of like a doorway entrance. And then I'll put a little ring on here. I'm putting the semicircles or quarter circles, I guess, as the entrance because we don't have an exact pathway going in, so it's going to look weird if I try to get an exact door lined up on the grid, and then we got these wonky pathways that don't quite line up with where the door goes. So I'm going to make it more of an open doorway to try and cover that. Let's go ahead and put the ground in here. No, I don't like that look. That doesn't really fit. But that's not bad. We can do that. Yeah, that's good. And then we're going to cover up these corners here by floating these pillars in. Corners don't quite line up exactly the way I want them to, so I've taken to putting in these pillars whenever it's good. Okay. It's going to be the back wall here. Get a couple of benches to go with those. Information signs. I don't want that blank wall, or that back wall to be blank. Something like that, yeah. And then maybe the windows? I mean, the windows don't work, but gives the impression that there should be sun. We'll float these guys into the walls. Should be fine. Yeah. Okay, stick some lion stickers on the outside and a few on the inside. I'm hoping that as I research lions, I'll get a little more decorations, but I haven't like 5-starred them in the research yet, so. For now, we're just going to put these TVs up, rotate them a little bit so that they're pointing in a downward angle, like they would be in a real zoo, in theory. Let's go ahead. I'm going to... No, that doesn't quite reach. What I'm trying to do is build a little display, just because that thing was so huge. The building ended up being huge. I had to do it that way to get the path to work, but well, these things are cool, but I'd rather have them on the side there. Oh, we got all these like little jars and the kilns and stuff that I know come from the African decoration set. Let's go ahead and actually use them. Right? We can make it look like this was a planned thing and not just something I'm coming up with now. I'm going to try to cheat everything kind of to the left or the right, so if you're sitting in the bench, you don't have a completely obstructed view. Yeah, that would completely obstruct the view, and we've used that statue before, so... let's see. Yeah, that's a good idea. Let's use these. They're supposed to be flags, but we can use them as rugs. Put you in the corner. We can hang these flags up here, like so. It's okay if they go a little above, because they're going to be covered up by the ceiling, so I'm not super worried about that. Yeah. Because the fence doesn't quite line up, I'm going to put these pillars here, just so from the outside view it looks like it's one connected building. Put some doors in. It's going to be fine with that angle. And what kind of roof are we going to put on? You know what? I'm going to not put the entire roof on yet. Just so I can do the lights and stuff, and I can still see in here, because I'm not quite done decorating. Let's go ahead and put some lights by these benches, and lights over the doors. Safety first. Oh, we don't have power out here. Well, that's great. Okay. We'll make a pathway going back there so our keepers, or our mechanics, can get back to there if they need to. I didn't know exactly where I'm going to link up yet. I'm not going to worry about that. Turn these on. Poaching stuff. Oh, we need to actually get our lions. Otherwise we can't make the TVs lion friendly. Get this fence finished first. Okay, so what we're going to do is like run the fence through this section of the building. So that'll be the area the lions can get into. And then we're going to put a gate on the inside here. And then we'll have to play with this gate a little bit. We're going to get it all inside the walls and turn it into a null fence. Like so. And the part that you can see, we're going to keep that same wired fence. And then we'll get everything to the same height here. I think the Zoopedia said it had to be a height of at least 3. So everything to that height. And then we're going to want to put the climb proofs. First, let's go ahead and block off. So the parts where I don't want guests to be looking through, we're going to turn into a solid wall. And then we're going to go ahead and put climbable on the inside, or the climb proof on the inside. Let's go ahead now. And in the guest viewing areas on the outside, I'm going to sink this fence in and just make like a little barrier so the guests aren't walking through it and putting their fingers inside the lion display. Because guests be stupid like that. I mean, I know the actual game mechanics are such that the guests won't leave the path, but still. I think it looks more realistic if I'm planning for stupid guests. So, like so. That looks like a good little barrier there. And I'm just running in front of those 3 viewing portals. Let's do this pathway. I don't want this pathway to just hug. Let's have it get out a little bit so we can do some decoration. And then we'll connect. Yeah, like that. Okay, filling in this area. I'm going to just put down some rocks. Just kind of whatever looks good. Throw in some of this elephant grass, I guess. One of these trees, just to get us appropriately themed for our new African section. Yeah, I'll take some of this grass here and just drop it in. And then, like I said, we're going to sand this thing up. I'm not going to work on getting rid of all the sand, though. Put this door here. We're going to make 2. So I want that door to stay at an angle. So we're going to play with this a little bit. Got to do some flexing, but we can get it done. And then we'll make a pathway to our actual shelter, our actual exhibit, inside of our exhibit, I should say. Sorry. Pathkeepers can get there. Pathkeepers, so our zookeepers can get there. Go up and down the post for just some decorations. Yeah, okay. That's not bad. So let's go ahead and make it look like we've got separate cages here. Just tweaking it a little bit. That. And then we'll add a cage halfway through here, like here, and just to make it look like we're putting in 2 separate cages. Get rid of all that grass. And then I'm going to take these fake fences to make it look like these are gates. So one right here, one right there, and this one we're going to swing open a little bit just to make sure it look like this gate has not been closed fully, just to give it a little character, make it clearer that there are gates and not just more fence. I'm going to actually make the area around there climb-proof too, so no one gets out and starts mauling people. Alright. Then we'll go ahead and put the interior walls in. Remember, in Planet Zoo, when you put a wall on a grid, you can do it to the left of the grid or the right of the grid. So if you're building a building and you want two different walls, you can put the outer wall to the right and the inner wall to the left, or whichever way it needs to go. It does create these little gaps, but I'm going to use my little pillar trick here. So, the door. Perfect. And we'll end up using a lot of that empty space that we've got for the zookeepers. We're going to probably go back, delete what I've put in there, and put in like actual staff facilities to make this more functional. Yeah, I think that's good. I think it's time to put the lions in. At some point you have to put them in so you can see exactly what they need as far as like terrain. Make sure they have enough space. Although this is a big exhibit, they should have more than enough space. Oh no, Centipede died. Alright, and there's trash. Let me take care of this real quick. I'll be back in a second, I think. Alright, putting the lions in now. And we're going to go ahead and put in the facilities, like I said. Kind of messed up the ground a little bit. And that'll happen. Fortunately, we can raise these guys up just like a half step. And that should cover it. Yeah, I wish it would let you... I think there is a way to flatten to the grid, but I forgot to do it, and I don't think we need it for here, so we're going to get this perfectly synced up. And all the zookeepers are actually going to care about is there a path underneath the decorations we're putting in? So that should be fine. We'll go ahead and add those buildings to the zone. Alright, lions are in now. Let's go ahead and make this fit them. So they like a lot of like rocky, soily terrain, which is perfect because in my head we're going to be building a kopie for our lions. And if you don't know what a kopie is, Pride Rock from the Lion King is a kopie. It's actually, those are naturally forming structures that lions do like to live on. So you'll see them in a lot of actual lion exhibits. And there may be a kopie in this game that you can sort of unlock. Haven't got there yet. Don't know if it's there. So I haven't unlocked it personally, so I'm going to hand make one with a bunch of rocks. Wow, this terrain does not want to settle when I put the grass down. You know what? No hay in that one. That's fine. We'll just put hay in the open one. And that's why that one's open, because that's where the hay is. Let's go ahead and pick... Let's actually take these orangier rocks. So a kopie consists of two things. It's got that jutting out piece that, you know, Simba gets on and roars. And it's also got the little cave piece. So I'm going to build a cave underneath too. And I don't know if this is going to be functional. In fact, I suspect it's not. But I want it to look functional at the very least. So we're going to make sure that there's a pathway up the kopie that the lions can climb, should they be so inclined. Alright, just get this in here. Make sure it looks good from all the angles. And I don't want just the kopie there, because it would look weird if that was the only rock structure. So we're going to build a couple smaller rock structures to the left and the right. And probably one back up. We're going to do this for two reasons. One, it makes it look more like a natural environment the lions would be in. Obviously, it would be weird if there was just one rock formation instead of a bunch of little ones. But also, we can use this as a way to block off the view so that guests in one viewing area don't see guests in another viewing area. That's a good plan. If you notice, zoos very rarely, you very rarely have you looking at the other humans, even though there's usually multiple viewing areas for the animals. It happens from time to time. It's not a perfect world, but you're probably going to want to reduce that. Okay, let's see here. What are we doing now? Let's put in these... They're on a different grid, aren't they? They are on a different grid. Okay, no problem. We'll snap it to their grid. These are internal walls, so they don't have to be matched up with the outside. I did it! Alright, lions are in. Lions are happy. Mostly. I think it's time to work on the foliage. So first, since this area is so close to where the guest viewing, I'm going to block it off by putting in all these reeds. It's going to make this a very very reedy area. I'm not going to worry as much about the other viewing areas because they're further away. But that one, you're almost staring directly into the building. Plus, that's the first viewing area you get in our African area. So make the best impression you can there. Throw a couple of these trees in. By those baobabs are huge. I wanted to use a baobab, but they're huge, and they have all their leaves, which, when I think of a baobab, I usually think of them as being without leaves. That messed up. I want to put in a little water area for them here. Maybe here's good. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Okay. I'll just put in some rocks and some reeds. Give it more of a natural feel. That should be good for all the viewing areas. You'll notice that as I go through here, I'm constantly checking the view from each area just to make sure it's fine. I'm going to put in a hard structure here, just kind of the basic one from the zoo game. I'll go back later and alter it so that it matches the building we've already made. But for now, I want to play with this little area here. Let's put in some of these more sand-colored rocks. This little flat rock needs something on it. It looks like it's almost a base for a statue. Is there anything good we can put on it? I really don't have anything great. You know what? That's okay. We can make like a little hut here. I'm not in love with it, but I don't hate it. Put that there, that little archway. It's not an archway, that little, I don't know, a four-leg table thingy. Put in some plants here, just to kind of cover up the fact that we're covering up the fact there's plants there. Yeah, reduce sand. You saw there, I reduced the sand down to 60% just to make it less intense. The reason I did that is because in a real zoo, where it's not a sandy environment that you're actually living in, grass seeds all the time would be poking in and filling in that, and you'd have little bits of grass poking their heads out of the sand. So by reducing the sand down to 60%, kind of gives it that effect. Goldenrod. I use goldenrod a lot in Zoo Tycoon 2, so I'm going to try it here. It's a little samey. So I'm going to plop a couple of this elephant grass in here. And I've, sort of by mistake, left this little gap area, but it's perfect for putting down some educational stuff. Let's get you in here. We're going to get graded, and we're going to get more donations the more educational stuff we have, so always wanted to keep that in mind. Let's go ahead and float this sort of log thing here down, just to make it look like the fence doesn't end in nothing. Make it look a little less crazy. So that educational sign that wasn't planning on putting down doesn't have power, so I gotta find a place where I can put a wind turbine that'll hit it. Nope, that one was just off. I guess we'll put it back here in this area. Where does it go? Does that work? No, it still doesn't have power. Where is the power? Okay, I'm just going to set it right here in the middle and make a long, ugly pathway going to it. Yes, that works fine. And let's go ahead and make this little sit-down area, so in case we have older guests that need to rest. Just build up a little rock formation behind it. One of these acai trees, or umbrella trees, not acai trees. Sand and elephant grass. Want to block off this area so that guests aren't looking at our keepers going back there to work on that power generator. Yeah, let's go ahead and just copy that over here. And we'll go ahead and build a rock formation. I don't know if I want to cover that area with fence yet or something, so I'll just leave it undone and we'll fill in the gap between the construction and the fence with these trees and this plants. So goldenrods, elephant grass. That should be more than enough. Give it some rocks so it ties in with the rest of the area. It feels a little tight, but I'm okay with it. Let's fill in this little gap here with some goldenrod, just to make it clear that we haven't forgotten it. And fill in this area, put in some shops or something to make it profitable. I think that's what we have to do. Gotta make sure everything's profitable. This is a for-profit zoo. Alright, Okay, just block off the view here. Raise up the fence there so no one can see it. Just doing my best to check around and make sure all the viewing's done. Oh, I haven't put a roof on this yet. That's a silly me. Let's go ahead and put a bench down there, just to make it look like our zookeepers have a place they can rest. Now, they actually can rest inside that large break room, but you can't see the large break room, so go ahead and put that kind of roof down. Just fill in. Oh, I almost forgot. Okay, we need to get rid of these, like, thatched or, like, in between. Let's float this out of here so it's not in this way. Get rid of that wood stuff, and we'll just replace it with that same blue metal stuff from the Australian pack, so it ties in together. And we'll extend, or we'll attempt to extend. Okay, let's float this in so it fits perfectly. Good. Yeah, that all looks fine, and we'll just go ahead and extend this awning all the way around. Okay. I'm gonna find you, corner piece. Okay, I think we've got that pretty much done, so let's go ahead and take a look at that West African lion exhibit. So here we are, we're outside our Komodo dragon, obviously. Komodo right there. We'll go ahead and just fly above these guests, and you can see here's the entrance to our African area. Not a bad little archway. Yeah, it looks all right to me. I'm trying to see if there's any changes I would make. Unfortunately, we had to have these ugly things here because otherwise the litter bugs will go through. But we'll fly through into this basic area here. You can see I added a little pathway, and then I put an information booth and a soda place here. Information booth just because I hadn't put one in a while. Soda because thirst was our #1 need for the guest. We ended up putting a separate pathway on that. And then this area that's not a pathway, I just put a thing of rocks around, a bunch of flowers, and those two little abstractish, I guess they're technically African art style giraffes. And then I filled in this gap, threw down some sand, put the Jeep, the fire pit, and then just blocked off the background so you can't see, I'll show you. You can't see this basic fence and the power generator that we had to put in there. And if you look past that, that would actually take you back to the facilities for our lemurs and our tapirs. So we wanted to block that from guest view. For these structures, I didn't do anything big with them. I just put down the basic structures and put the single shop African shells on top of them. So I did that one kind of cheap and easy at the end. Let's go ahead and take a look at our lions, though. So you can see here is the first viewing area. And in fact, you can see one of our lionesses in the first viewing area. That's very good. Looks pretty good, actually. So you can kind of see that the hard shelter area out there. That's fine. I'm okay with that being visible. You can see where the indoor guest viewing area is, but since we use that one-way glass, you can't see the guest. So I think that's preferable too. Plus, it'll keep our lions less stressed if they go over there. Very good. Very good. Yeah, kind of like that from all those angles. Let's go ahead and take a look at the zookeeper side where we're in. Oh, I should show you this area. Just this is what you see when you walk. Whoop! I whipped us around too far. Too far! Where are we? Oh, we're right back where we started. But this is what you'll see if you walk through the arch into the African area to start with. You'll see the opening to the lions right there, or the first lion area right there. And of course, on the left, you'll just see kind of these big sandstone colored rocks and some of the appropriate fauna there. And I put these poles in. I think these are technically poles from the Australian pack, judging by the designs on them, but I think it passes. Anyway, let's go ahead and go through the door here and through this door here. That's going to take us into our main keeper area. Now in here we have a large zookeeper area, so we can put, or we can start including this as a break place for all the keepers in the African area as we go. We can also go down here. There's going to be a keeper hut, and I put in a storage animal trade center. I put in an animal trade center just because we are still next door to the reptile house where we have so many animals in storage. I figured we would need more storage, and putting one near that area seemed like a good idea. But you can put in a second keeper area or mechanical research or anything you want if you're following along with that design. It doesn't matter. Let's go ahead here and take a look at this. See how it should now. I don't know why this guy is jumping in the air. I guess he's really happy. It looks like he's doing the woohoo because he's got his arm up in the air. So looking pretty good there. Obviously, here is the exit for the animals to go in and out of the exhibit. You could put one of those animal doors there to kind of cover it up and make it look more official, which would stop the animals from actually coming inside. It would force them to stay outside, but that would also block the keepers and vets from going in and out. So just something to think about. If you put that door there because you want the animals to stay outside all the time, make sure you put in a separate door for your keepers and such. This does a pretty good job just by putting this one fence and these fake little bar gate fences there. Does a pretty good job of making it look like we've got two different pens. So like we could separate the male and the female lions or whatever we had to do. So that looks pretty good. Let's go back out to where the guests would be walking through. And we'll just continue along that path there. I can see there's a little goldenrod here. I might go back and fill in this area. I haven't decided yet. I'll wait until I have all the African whatever pack unlocked, whatever we call those things. The research that you have to do to unlock it. You know what I mean if you've played the game. All right, go around the corner here. This is obviously our little bench area where our guests can sit. Just threw a couple of rocks, one of those umbrella trees back there, put lighting on either side. And then we also put that fence, of course, to block off the area like we discussed before. This is going to be the entrance to more of our back gatekeeper areas. Right now it's just the pathway to that one power generator. So we've got the pathway going down there, and then we've put down some fences just to block off the view from our guests so they don't have to look at it. But you can see that some guests have actually already made it all the way down here to our second viewing area. Oh, I should show you this little area. This is what you see if you sit on the benches. You got kind of rocks, a couple of these just basic pools, a lot of that elephant grass I'm filling in the background with. And continuing on this path, you can see the entrance to the inside lion area, but there is one more viewing zone. Let's see if we can actually see anything here. I don't see. Oh, I was going to say I don't see, and yet there it is. There's, you can see our male lion right there. It looks like he's walking between the copy we made and that scratching post. So that's pretty good. I would definitely, like if I was in the zoo, I would definitely stop there to look at him. That's a better than average look at that lion. So let's go ahead and go inside the main viewing area. I'll give you a kind of a look at the entrance here where we've got this overhang. We'll go into here. I didn't bother to put doors on it because I wanted people to be walking through. You can see we've done a lot of work on that back wall to give it this kind of lived-in look. This kind of used look, as if we're. I didn't want the back wall to look like there was any wasted space, and I think we achieved that. Got our sort of faux African art display in the middle here, just because the room was way too big without it, so that's the main reason I wanted to throw that in there. Went ahead and put in a skylight just to bring a little extra to it, and we did go ahead and hang, as you can see, some lights. Turn them all the way on. We've got a couple of lights before the door entrances all along the back wall, and then I've got some hanging up here too. You saw me put those in, or I think you saw me. I haven't edited it yet, so can't be sure. But you can see there's an excellent look at our male lion right here. I wish they would be climbing the copies while we did this, but unfortunately, don't think that's going to happen. But either way, that's an excellent look. You could almost see the other guests looking out there, so maybe I'll tweak it and like kick out a rock, but right now I'm kind of happy with that. We'll put a food tray down here, obviously, just to encourage them to kind of come here and lay down here. We also put that's one of the reasons why we put that little extra shade hanging over. That's an excellent view of that lion. Like, I would be so pleased if I saw that in a regular zoo. Anyway, moving on, there is one more viewing area that we want to take a look at. So as you exit through here, we're going to be coming to this. Whoop, 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 whoop. Get me back to where I was. Ah! Camera go crazy sometimes. So where are we at? We are in the exhibit now. Let me back up so we're not in the exhibit. Okay, and turn around so we're at the right angle. Obviously, we can see the male lion's butt. Is that the female lion there? There should be a female. Yes, okay. So get two lion butts because there's two lionesses and one lion in here. But this is a pretty good look. Yeah, okay. So my fear was you might be able to see the door entrance, and you kind of can. but you can't like see the caging or anything, so I'm perfectly fine with that. And I'm even perfectly fine with there being like this one artificial structure here that you can easily see, just because that makes it feel more like a zoo exhibit instead of just kind of a random place without a zoo. You know what I say, words are hard. Words are super hard. So anyway, that was the first episode of the Random Rolling Zoo. I'll go ahead and give you a sky view of what we've built here. So here's the arch, here's the zookeeper building, there's the observing area, and then we've got the 1, 2, 3 guest looks that are outside. So plenty of opportunities to see our lions, and yet I feel like our lions are going to be able to get into a hidey place back here where they're not always on display. Obviously, they can lay under the coppice. They got plenty of shade. They've got an actual indoor facility that's kind of off display. It's way back from where anyone can see, so I think it's well placed. And of course, they can even go inside if they wanted to. I don't know if they'll actually do that, but they have the ability to do that. It shouldn't cause any hitbox issues. So that's how we're going to end this episode. If you like this episode, go ahead and give it a like. That's that thumbs up button there. If you want to know when the next episode of this Random Roll Zoo comes out, go ahead and press that little bell button. Give it a little ding-a-ling-a-ling. And if you like this content, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, because that just at least motivates me to do more things like this. We'll go ahead and get the dice ready for the next episode. I will see you then. Until then, this is Zoo Tycooner Steve saying bye.